It's March, let's reset together. Alright, so if you guys have been around my channel for any length of time, you know that I started doing reset videos at the beginning of the month, just kind of reflecting on the month previous and then looking ahead to the month to come. I talk about goal setting and try to talk about some of my favorite moments, things like that. If this is your first time coming to my channel, my name is Kelly and I love sharing about secondhand shopping. I share about our life as a family. I share about living simply and minimally in a small house. So if you are interested in any of those things, then I hope you will stick around. So as we are rapidly approaching the middle of March, it is high time that I do my March reset video. So I want to start by following up on a couple of things that I talked about in my February reset. Those things were to set a timer for reading and also to kind of change my social media habits. Those are things that I am making small changes in, and I'm definitely seeing good results. So if you missed what I had said in February, I'll link that video down below. But I am implementing those changes just a little bit at a time, and it's feeling good. It's feeling like a good positive change, and so I'm gonna keep with that and keep going in that direction. Another habit that I have really been focusing a lot on these past few weeks has been my water intake. I can't remember if I mentioned in my little pregnancy update at the end of my February reset or not, but I was experiencing some pretty strong Braxton Hicks, and they were pretty frequent. Of course, Braxton Hicks are kind of like your body's practice contractions, and they can happen really anywhere from the second trimester on. It's not a concern, but they were kind of getting uncomfortable, and I wanted to make sure that they weren't getting too frequent. So upon doing a little more research on them and then talking to my doctor about them, they can be brought on by a lot of things. Sometimes they're just random. Sometimes they come on whenever you change activity, so either sitting down or standing up, moving a lot. They can also be brought on by stress, and they can also be brought on by dehydration. And I would say those two things are things that I noticed a lot with mine. I noticed that I would experience them a lot if I was feeling stressed and anxious, especially if we were like getting ready to go out the door somewhere and we were running late. Or I noticed that I wasn't drinking as much water. So my doctor told me that she wants me drinking 90 ounces of water a day, which first just felt really impossible. But I've implemented a couple of habits to make it easier, and I want to share those with you in case you are also trying to up your water intake. The first one is to have a water bottle that has markings on it as far as your measurements for water. So this is one that I thrifted that was in really good shape. I've had this one a while, and I would like use it periodically, but now it is like my buddy. I carry it with me everywhere. It is the Contigo brand. It is not leak proof, I have found. I don't really know where it leaks out, but if it does get turned on its side, it will kind of leak out in this area, so I have to be mindful of that. Luckily, it does actually fit in the cup holders in my new vehicle. That's something that's a big pet peeve of mine, is when you have this water bottle or this drink container and it won't fit in your cup holder, because of course then that's when you wind up with the leaking. But this is really nice. It holds 32 ounces of water. I was initially thinking, okay, I need to drink, almost 3 of these to get my 90 ounces. But I was talking to a friend who I know also drinks a lot of water, and she also suggested to drink a glass of water before meal times. She said that she will just down 16 ounces before she heads into a meal. So what I've been doing is just taking a mason jar or any kind of glass that we have and just pouring roughly 8 ounces of water. I try to do that first thing in the morning and then again before each of my meals. And if I end up doing that, those 3 glasses plus these 2 almost get me to my 90 ounce goal. So I've found that breaking it up like that helps. I've also found that water flavor packets help. I don't do them often. I know it's not the best thing for you. I pretty much drink straight water. Sometimes I will put lemon juice or lime juice in it just to kind of change it up. But I would say maybe once every other day I'm having like a little Propel packet or something like that, just to kind of make it more interesting. So I'll drink my first one of the day just as plain water, and then kind of as like my afternoon slump treat, I'll have my second one be something that's flavored. But all that to say, it has not been as hard as I thought it was going to be, And breaking it up like that has been really helpful, just to say, okay, I'm just gonna drink a glass before every meal. And okay, I'm gonna finish one of these before lunch. And then, okay, I'm gonna drink another one of these between lunch and supper. And breaking it up like that, it hasn't felt unreachable. Whereas when she first told me 90 ounces of water, I thought there is no way. February was a month of sickness for me, actually. I never had a fever. I don't know what it was, but I had a cold or a variation of the flu or something. I don't know. My daughter had it, and she actually did have a fever with hers, but it just lingered. And when I went to the doctor, that's what he was saying, was that a lot of what they're seeing, it just lingers, the cough lingers. And so, I mean, it knocked me down for a good 2 weeks. And I'm sure part of that was also just combined with being in my 3rd trimester, but it threw me for a loop. So it feels good to feel back like myself. Of course, I am still in my 3rd trimester. I am still very pregnant, but I don't feel as fatigued as I did. It was just, it really did throw me for a loop. So I am so thankful that I'm kind of beyond that. I mentioned in my February reset video about trying to kind of reframe how I was thinking about myself and the comments that people make and all those kinds of things, you know, well-meaning people, but just commenting on how big I'm carrying, or am I having twins, or there's no way I'm going to make it to my due date. All these things that go through my mind anyway, but it's just interesting to hear, you know, from complete strangers. I've really done a much better job this month of just shaking it off, laughing that stuff off, and just really trying to be present in the stage that I'm in as much as possible. It is such a joy to experience what I'm experiencing, and this is such a small part. This is just such a small window of time in the grand scheme of this baby's life and my life. So I'm really just trying to take it a day at a time and just take care of myself. So that kind of moves me to my motto for the month. My motto for March is to make more nourishing choices than indulgent ones. I think that the space of eating and exercise and taking care of ourselves, you know, it can be really one extreme to the other. It can be filled with a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, or it can be filled with none of this matters, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. Pregnancy definitely makes it easy to be in the I'm just gonna do whatever I want camp. So I don't want to deprive myself, but I definitely want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself and I'm thinking ahead to after the baby, whenever I am going to want to not stay the weight that I am. It's good and it's natural to put on weight during pregnancy, but I don't want to hold on to that. I want to be able to feel like myself. Not necessarily feel like the thinnest I have ever been, but just to feel good and healthy and like myself. So of course that means trying to walk as often as I can, looking for little spots in the day to do movement. I've started just trying to do an arm workout here or do a walking workout video here. And it doesn't have to be anything big or crazy, but just trying to make choices that I know are nourishing and choosing those more often. And then that way, when I'm choosing those indulgent choices, they really do feel like a treat instead of just something that I'm doing every single day. Snacking at night has been a big one for me in that regard. So I'm trying to kind of pull away from that and see that more as an indulgent choice and something that I don't want to be doing every day, and looking more at a nourishing choice like, hey, maybe we'll try to go to sleep during that time, those kinds of things. All right, lastly, as far as favorite parts of the month, we are actually kind of turning a corner, and it feels like maybe we're actually getting into spring and not like fake spring. With North Carolina, you really never know, but yesterday the high was 82 degrees and you know, we're mid-March, so it's just, it can really run the gamut. But last week at our outdoor day at school, we nearly froze outside, and I wished that I had brought that puffer jacket I have that's like the heaviest jacket I have. But I thought, no, you're being ridiculous. It's not that cold. And of course we got there and it was indeed that cold. So you just never know what you're gonna get. But my favorite moments in February included getting another snow. So that's 3 times that we have seen snow this winter. Now, it hasn't accumulated to a lot, you know, it's not amounted to a lot. It did not stick. This one actually, it snowed one night and then by lunch the next day, it was completely melted. But we did get to see it and we got to experience it. And for us to see 3 snows, even though they weren't very big, that's pretty significant. So I'm kind of, you know, done with the snow. If it snows more, of course, that's fine. But I've got my snow fix and I'm really kind of ready for spring. The warmth of the sun has been so great. I'm looking ahead to things like planting my cut flower garden, which I'm going to be sharing with you guys, and just all those little spring things that are to come. We are also headed into kind of birthday season for us. The springtime of year for us is just saturated with birthdays in our immediate family and our extended family. So those are giving me some things to look forward to in the times when pregnancy is maybe feeling a little bit hard. You know, it's feeling a little heavy and I'm thinking, I don't know how I'm going to make it to the end of this journey. Having little things to look forward to have been really helpful. And those things can be events like birthdays and parties and things like that. But also, I mentioned in my last video, just trying to set markers throughout the day. So as much as possible, having something to look forward to in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. And that can be a treat. It can be a rhythm like laundry or coffee or dishes that I know is going to set me up for success. Those kinds of little things, those markers throughout the day and throughout the month are really helping to kind of ground me and make this time feel, I don't know, I guess just make this time feel not like it's dragging on and I'm just, again, trying to take one day at a time. Okay, so that is it for my March reset. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments what you are excited for this month, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel as always. Please like this video and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.